Hey there, my friends. This is Bill MacDonald, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to combine the worlds of revising and reading, called readvising, using my readvising graphic organizer. But I'm also going to include editing for those of you that want to begin to prepare your students to answer the field test questions of editing and revising. But I'm also going to help you swag teachers with the concept of subject writing across grades, where we're going to read a passage about some butterflies and how they heat up their wings so that they can fly after getting them so cold because of a temperature change that they can't fly. So why do I have this golfing picture in the background? Not because I love golf, even though I do. There's lots of flowers back there. So if a butterfly is going to have a place to rest, he's probably going to do it on one of those flowers behind me. If I'm going to rest, I'm going to be doing it in that golf cart, watching my other friends play golf, or hitting the ball and relaxing, or I'm going to rest and soak up the rays of the sun in that beach over there behind the golf hole next to the palm trees. So let me show you a question. And basically, the question had a paragraph. It was sentences 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there were 6 sentences inside the paragraph, and they wanted to know where an appropriate place would be to add one more sentence. So basically, they had to understand reading the content, the main idea, but they had to add a specific supporting sentence, singular, to a certain place, A, B, C, or D, somewhere inside a paragraph that would make sense. But what I want to show you is on this video, how to verbally connect the reading to the revising with cause and effect, and how to connect editing to the revising by verbalizing the capitalization and the punctuation as we go. So let me share the screen with you. Thanks goes to a wonderful teacher from our group that so graciously shared of her generosity by sending this amazing AVER document camera. As you can see, it's got nice high clarity. I don't even have the light on. So this came from question number 8 in 7th grade. There used to be 13 revising questions and 17 editing. Now there might just be 6 editing and 6 revising from 3rd through 8th grade. And so this is one of the types of questions in revising. Revising is improving the content. And how do you improve the content of a paragraph or a passage? By using your arm, by ARM, by adding, removing, replacing, or moving. Sometimes we can use the word delete or eliminate. So if you say armed, I am armed, I could also put E as in eliminate and D as in delete. Those words can show up too, but they don't use the word substitute. So it's best not to use arms. So let's read the question. And while we're reading it, we'll underline and label any keywords that we find. Where is the most effective place, okay, to insert this sentence, the sentence that's up here, okay? So there's this box. So if you remember in the old days, we used to have sentence strips. Each one of us kids in the class were a sentence, and we had to figure out where we belonged inside the paragraph. Well, there's only 6 sentences, so you would only need 7 students. A student with sentence 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the one that we're adding here. And you figure out who's on first. Where do I go inside the paragraph? So how can I practice editing grammar? By just verbalizing capitalization and punctuation when I see it. It takes an extra second. Watch. Capital basking allows butterflies to absorb heat from the sun and helps raise their body temperatures enough to give them energy to fly once again, period. That's called verbal. Kinesthetic or visual, watch me. Putting on my cap. Basking allows butterflies to absorb heat from the sun and helps raise their body temperatures enough to give them energy to fly once again. And that's a stop sign. So I can either hold up my hand, or I can teach my kids to bounce a ball on the floor, or I can teach the slinky concept. Basking allows butterflies to absorb heat from the sun and helps raise their body temperatures enough to give them energy to fly once again, period. And then you would close that little slinky. They sell them 6 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. They sell the bouncy balls for $1 at the Dollar Tree, or you can pretend to be bouncing a ball. Okay, so we're going to take this sentence and place it somewhere inside paragraph 3. So I've already underlined and labeled paragraph 3 just by highlighting, and I wrote question number 8, and I went ahead and placed the 4 letters. They said at the beginning of the paragraph for F, after sentence 3 for G, after 5 for H, or at the end of the paragraph for J. So in order to figure out where a specific sentence goes, we've got to figure out what is the subject of that sentence so that we can determine which sentence it goes best with. And so when I look at the sentence that's there, basking allows the butterflies to absorb heat. So basically it is what happens, the effect of basking. And so what we're looking for in reading, if basking, if this box is the effect, think of a transition as a way of moving from one sentence to the next. Transitioning is sort of like transmissioning. How do you move from your car from here to here? And cause comes before effect in the alphabet and in the sequence of an event. So all we got to figure out is if that box is the effect, then which one of these 4 letters is the cause, and it has to relate to the topic of basking. So what we're going to do is we're going to execute our plan so that we can start to eliminate 3 and explain why we're going to eliminate them. Then we'll select one answer in the book and in the Scantron or in our computer. And all these strategies that we're doing here on the book can be done also on paper. If your kids have a computer, they can still write number 8. They can write the word rules. They can write cause effect, but they can also do it online. But remember that we're often limited with our online strategies. So keep that in mind. So what I suggest you do, all of you who are part of the revising webinar, editing and swag, have been given a copy of this 8.5 by 11 sheet, where it has one side as the revising graphic organizer, the bottom when you use reading or revising skills to figure out the answers to questions. When you look on the opposite side, then you get to cover editing of passages and essays. Each one of those fingers and the palm stand for something to do with an editing strategy. And then we also have a question, whereas what is the purpose, what is the topic, and so your students would have to um, answer the question. The question is sort of like the red light. The way you answer it in this shape could be the yellow light, and then the way you explain it and say where it is, that could become blue or green. I've changed my trains since the transition to star is going to be, my new trains are going to have, this one is going to be red, this one will be yellow, and this will be green, so that your question, the answer to your question is red to get a 1, where you prove the answer and the examples you use to prove it in the passage will be a 2. And then for those of you that have to develop, you'll allow your extended answer to grow into an essay by growing. So you'll see that the new trains will have red, yellow, and green. So if you can look at your trains, those of you in the webinars for this summer, make sure that you have the ones that have a red box here with 2 little red circles, because I'm going to get a 0 unless I make a connection between the question and my response. I've got to see that they have a connection. All right, so let's take a look and see. I went ahead and wrote the box sentence. Basking, what about it? Butterflies can absorb the heat from the sun, comma, it raises their temperature for energy so they can fly again. So that's an effect. All right, so it got 59% correct in Texas, less than 60%. So apparently it was a difficult thing. Your kids had to read an entire paragraph to figure out where the topic of basking goes. So we've got F, G, and H over here, and J is at the very end. So let's take a look and see what sentence 3 was about. Wings help a butterfly manage its body temperature. Since nothing was mentioned about basking, I'm going to right away eliminate F and G unless I can see that something in sentence 4 has to do with basking. Let's check. Butterflies are cold-blooded, so the environment determines their temperature. Nothing has been mentioned about basking, so I can for sure now eliminate after sentence 3, letter G. So we've only got 2 answers left. Sentence 5, when the air gets colder than 60 degrees, cause the effect, the butterfly loses energy. Effect number 2, it's unable to fly. So on multiple answers, they might ask your students in an open-ended question, what are 2 things that happens to a butterfly once the air gets lower than 60 degrees? And so you science teachers are going to probably have questions like this. And the reason it's in reading is because it's a cause and effect relationship, and that is a reading teak. But you would have to understand that in science, the sun affects a butterfly's ability to fly. So are they talking about basking? Not yet. Let's see if sentence 6 talks about, if it wants to fly, it must warm up its muscles. Okay. Basking, butterflies absorb the heat from the sun, raises their temperature to fly again. Since that is something that hasn't been done yet, because it hasn't even warmed up its muscles yet, I don't think it goes there. So there's only going to be one place left. Number 7, wings can warm up by basking. For the first time, our topic in our box sentence is mentioned. And so it could either have gone here, which wasn't a choice, or it can go after sentence 8, where I drew an extra finger. So your students, when you laminate the hands that I sent you, each student can have a copy, or they can draw their own hand with 6 fingers and just do what you call hashtagging. Bask, what is the definition of basking? It's finding a place to rest, comma, spreading its wings, comma, and soaking in the sun, apostrophe S ray. So that means that the rays belong to the sun. That's singular possessive. Okay, so what's going to be the effect? That the butterfly is going to be able to absorb that heat from the sun. It will raise its body temperature and give it enough energy to be able to fly. So it fits in right there. So I'm using the hand to say, let's look at the content, the reading content, the paragraph they've given us, and then we are looking for one specific supporting sentence to move in to this paragraph that is informative, giving us information about how butterflies work. And on the bottom, you can see I have some bracelets. Were we adding? Yes, we were adding a sentence to the paragraph, but we were also moving. We were moving the sentence that was in the box to the most effective place inside the paragraph. And so, yes, this is very colorful. It's got a lot of stuff on here, but when I saw how hard the revising tests have been over the last several years in all grade levels, I wanted something that I could use with both reading and revising teachers to help them come up with strategies that can merge the worlds of reading and revising. And so I call that readvising. So today we covered revising was the big skill. We were talking about the cause and effect relationship which in reading, which is sort of like a transition. Teeter is the cause, transition, and then the totter is the effect, or the C is the cause, then the transition, and then the saw is the effect. And then we also practice editing by verbalizing the capitalization and punctuation or doing it kinesthetically. And I also show you the environment of where a butterfly could also rest. And so if you closed up the lesson, where are some places outside that a butterfly could safely rest and warm up its wings faster than somewhere in the shade, but also in a place where it would not be in danger of being eaten by any animals that would be known as its predator. God bless you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend or week whenever you're watching this video. Please share or tag your reading and writing teacher friends, and in this case, your science friends. I want to share with you that at any time that you want to purchase the readvising, merging reading and revising webinar, the editing webinar, which basically is going to be going from the basics of penmanship to spelling, capitalization, punctuation, and usage at the sentence level, and practicing all the different skills, and then practicing those at the paragraph and passage level, so that by the end of the school year, Those of you who in reading who get those, all of you from 3rd through 10th grade are going to get them, but all of you in 3rd through 8th grade are going to have them as field tests. But I don't want you to not practice with them with your kids and not be prepared. Let's work on them now. But like I said, if that was a reading passage, I was able to practice editing and revising at the same time and even talk a little bit about science. God bless you guys and have a great